I mean, the only downside this week has been probably like the lack of sleep, trying to stay up and catch all the things going on. First we had some scary stuff, but we'll get into all that. Obviously, some quick intros quickly. So I'm Jordy. I'm the CIO of Selene Capital. We have Justin here, the CEO of Astaria, with us. Thiki is actually joining us once again. So Thiki is the junior busboy at Scimitar Capital that is potentially getting a raise this month. And we have the humble farmer himself, Taiki, with us also. So guys, like, where do we start?
Well, should we start with what we're thankful for? Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it. We've got the sexy intros too. I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, I think this time we're going to be trying to have even more production quality in live. So we'll see if we can coordinate that. Justin, what are you thankful for?
A few things. Obviously, thankful for you guys. This podcast has been a ton of fun. I think this is our 18th episode, so we've been doing it for like 4.5 months, which is probably a lot longer than we thought we would make it. We're just trying to get to the bull run, but I think we're sort of getting there. So thankful for that. Thankful for all our listeners. On the crypto side, very happy that this Binance sort of issue has been resolved ahead of Thanksgiving. I think that was perfect timing and makes us all, sleep a little easier at night. And I know I'm always singing Jordy's praises, but I have to give a shout out to Jordy for talking to me about Mantle, sharing it with me, and Mantle's performed very well over the past couple of weeks, of course, with all of our other coins. But thank you, Jordy, in particular.
Guys, like, first of all, the Binance news, that's something that ultimately it seems like we should be thankful for. It was a little bit scary when the headlines were coming out. It was clear that there was going to be some announcement, and we didn't know how bad it was going to be. I think once it got digested, the market likes the news. It's bullish. We have the overhang out the way. There's been speculation around, are they going to have to sell all the coins to raise this $4 billion? But maybe they've already paid it. We know there's some USDT been moving around 4 billion worth on chain. And we have to imagine that, with the amount of bags that they must have packed over the last few years, they must be able to pay 4 billion, I think. So pretty bullish to me. I'm thankful for the fact that we're back. I mean, we've seen multiple launches this week. Personally, we've been supporting 3 launches, major ones, including Pyth, Vertex, and Chainflip, and they've all done spectacularly well. This is not what we would see during the bear market, where the launch would happen, you get a lot of excitement, and then like things sort of like trail off, and it just sort of goes down only from there. We saw that with some of them, but then there's like this new lease of life where people come in and Chainflip yesterday, just insane. Like launched at $3, came down to $2, and then has been like pumping up to 5 or 6, and that's been more the case. So thankful for that. Thankful that we're back. Taiki, what are you thankful for?
To be honest, I mean, of course, thankful for the markets. I think a lot of the because when it comes to like fear, right? It's like, or like FUD events. There's like known knowns, known unknowns, unknown knowns, and unknown unknowns. And I think a lot of the potential, like overhangs that people feared. I mean, we're still open to like the potential black swan events and whatnot, but I think all the potentially negative events that could have gone poorly, I think it is much better than expected. But for me personally, I'm thankful for just people that watch our content, people that watch my content. To be honest, like the past 2 years have been pretty rough content-wise. It's like every time I upload a video, I lose subscribers. Like engagement's down only. But I think we're back. Like, I'm starting to gain subscribers. Stablecoin market cap's recovering. DeFi is like there's more attention on it. And I think the next 12, 24 months are going to be really exciting. So I'm really thankful for the lads and also anyone that supports us.
So
Thicky,
Taiki,
you
are
need to
people
take us
watching
home with.
the?
As
This
you
is
said,
gonna
Thicky,
happen
you need to
live,
give
guys.
us a non-monetary, non-financial thankful thing. We can't all just be thankful for money.
Oh yeah, I was on mute. But no, yeah. I was gonna say, so I've been traveling to Singapore and I've been meeting a lot of the people I've been talking to pretty much like exclusively online, and definitely grateful for the relationships that I've built this year and like the people I've met. Everyone here is super nice, and yeah, really thankful for that. I actually eat better when the market's doing shit, so yeah, thankfully I'm not gonna be thankful for a bull market for now.
I managed to catch up with Thiki. We got a pretty healthy, kind of like a salad bowl type of thing. So he is indeed eating well. Taiki, I was gonna ask though, like, so what do you have planned for content now that people are re-engaging? I mean, after your 36-part Kanto, why I'm bullish on Kanto series, is there like a new thing going on, or what's next?
Well, I brought back the farmer hat and the rake. You know, I brushed off the dust from those two props. Let me actually wear it.
All right, we're gonna have a
Got some
live
props.
farming.
Live farming.
You know, like
Oh,
no, live farming. You know, because without farmers, there's no food for us to eat, and without the DeFi farmers, there's no governance tokens for Thicky to dump on us. So
he's
you know,
back.
you have to thank the farmers. You have to thank the farmers. But content-wise, I mean, I started a new podcast, Crypto Market Wizards, trying to focus on people that trade at liquid markets. So like, let's focus on like I guess like VCs and private investments. Farms of the week, like yields are back, baby. And hopefully I can talk about like longer term theses like RWAs and whatnot. So that's kind of my strategy.
I think one of the topics everybody's want to know about, Taiki, is like, are you farming Blast, and what do you think of Blast?
Yeah, so I did deposit a little bit of money, not too much. There's like obviously opportunity cost, because if you do, I mean, it's not even a bridge, right? Like it's like a contract on mainnet. Like there's like no actual L2 yet. I am.
How do we
bullish
describe Blast? I mean, what do we actually describe it as? Is it a Ponzi that's an upcoming L2 that's going to kind of rerun Blur all over again, or how do we even describe this thing?
I kind of view it as, I view it as like an L2 that's like solving some market inefficiencies. Like for example, like Arbitrum has like $2.5 billion worth of ETH in their bridge contract, just sitting there, not being staked. And I mean, obviously, if you stake all of them, that presents risks and whatnot. But even if they stake half of it, earning 4% on Lido or like whatever LSD provider, those yield can either go to the token holders, or maybe Arbitrum can have their own version of staked ETH that they can disperse yield to. Maybe like the value the token holders are makes more sense. So I just think that it's like, from a DeFi perspective, I think that this is inevitable. Like teams are going to eventually just build better products, and I think it's going to lead to more liquid staking derivative adoption, RWA adoption, which I think is going to just boost yields across crypto altogether. It is kind of grifty in the sense that it's like CT influencers and like paradigms, just like but I do think it's a good idea. Like if you just strap away like the influencer investing and whatnot, I mean, I just think that it makes sense, and I think the token's going to do well, even though I don't have like a vested interest. I'll farm it. I'll farm the hell out of it, to be honest.
The farmer is interested. Justin, are you interested, or have you been following this new contraption?
I have been following it. I've really enjoyed some of the memes on Twitter, especially the I think Taiki actually posted the sort of pyramid scheme style graphic that they posted, where like the more people refer, the more points everyone gets, and it like all funnels to the top. I thought that was hilarious. There's been a lot on Twitter that's been funny, and a lot of critiques here, which I think are valid. I will say though, these guys are like masters of this stuff, and this is certainly going to work. I mean, it depends how you define work, but like clearly they're attracting TVL. They're going to attract a ton more. I personally haven't used it. I'm sort of waiting to see how it plays out. From my understanding, I haven't actually looked at the code myself. Not that I'm an auditor or anything like that, but from my understanding, it truly is just a multi-sig. So a little sketchy there. But I'm personally waiting to see a little like when they launch. If the ETH on their L2 trades at a discount because it's locked up for a few months, I think there might be an opportunity in the future to get cheap ETH. For those that don't know, that was like my thing in the bear market, was to buy cheap Coinbase staked ETH, and just sort of like sit on that. So I'm waiting. I think what they're doing is going to work as far as attracting TVL, but obviously some shady practices going on there, to say the least.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, just for the context of our viewers, probably most of them are quite aware of what this blast thing is, and maybe we can bring up some of the announcement for it or something. But I would say that this is, it's like yield farming meets Herbalife. It's a weird sort of taking like Blur and putting it on steroids. This stuff I feel very conflicted about. I agree with you exactly, Justin, in what you said. So this probably will work. I mean, it is working. They're basically at hundreds of millions of TVL in a couple of days. What they're basically doing is using the power of the unlaunched shitcoin, where you're just going to get points for this thing and it's going to be worth something. And as long as you're just using your ETH and your stablecoin as a savings account, they're basically saying, like, why not just put it in here for 3 months and you're going to get this extra points on top of staking yield. So if you're a guy who's just leaving it in your wallet, it creates a superior product where there's like a freebie on top. Of course, you could say that there's security concerns, but assuming that you're comfortable with the security concerns and the fact that Paradigm is sort of backing it makes a difference, right? If it was like a fully anonymous team, like, I think the security risk would be a lot higher. I think the purists are not very happy about this, and I understand. But we saw this playbook with Blur, and Pac-Man did a masterful job of creating this like insane farming over there, got people really into it, and he managed to make that succeed. I mean, Vicky, what's your strategic read of this product?
Yeah, I think I agree with you on all your points. I think like marketing always wins over tech, and I think this is like a prime example of something like that happening. In terms of just like price action, I was like pretty long Blur going into the unlock. I thought that this would be a bullish unlock. I thought there would be some announcement that would, these guys are very crafty, and I thought there'd be something like just very bullish that they'd announce. And when they first announced it, I was like really disgusted. It had like a bad taste in my mouth. It's like, oh, another token. It's so classic. Like, I actually dumped it all. And then like I thought about it for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. I talked to a few people and I was like, fuck it, I have to rebuy it. Like, this is actually bullish. Like people are like actively staking their Blur. No one's selling that much. It's actually like a decent idea.
Can you describe exactly like how it works? Because it's like a Ponzi on a Ponzi. So you have Blur, and then there's like a new coin. And in order to give Blur yield, they don't want to dilute Blur. So they're using like the new coin to give you yield on your Blur now. So there's a whole new Ponzi. Can you describe how that works?
Yeah. So basically, like, but if you weren't an investor in Blast, the only way you can actually sort of like farm this like new token is by staking your Blur. And for season 3, instead of incentivizing it with Blur, they're incentivizing it with like the future Blast token, which should be launched in February of next year. So in a sense, they kind of killed two birds with one stone. Like, they give some utility to Blur, and they also make it so that like there is no death spiral effect. Everyone's talking about the death spiral, where like if Blur price crashes, then like no one's going to farm it, and that'll just crash Blur price even more, and then liquidity will disappear. So this is like a kind of an elegant solution to that. You just offset it with a new token, with a new product. And their argument is that like this product will enable like future Blur features. Like if they want like a really liquid and fast NFT perp market, then it has to be done on L2. So like, the story is convincing how this is going to be creating some ecosystem that'll ultimately accrue value to Blur holders.
Yeah, and it never ceases to be surprised how just like a new random coin with no backing can get billions of value. And I saw W1 posted a tweet where apparently Avo, the DEX, already has a market for this token that is launching maybe next year. We don't know when. I think we can we can find this Avo token.
I think it was trading at like a 3 billion FDV actually.
Yeah, exactly. It was trading at 3 to 4 billion, although like the volume I think on it was like 20K. So if you're Paradigm, why not, burn 20K on fire just to potentially give people like a public marking, just to anchor people at like 4 billion, like this thing's going to be worth 4 billion. And then you kind of, from there, you go back and you like imagine how much your points are worth. If this is actually worth 4 billion, it's gonna blow my mind.
Just a question on that, Vicky. You said it does solve the problem for now. Totally agree. But does this just kick the can down the road? Like, do they have to, in 6 months, a year, like when the Blast token is in the dumps, when like no one's as interested in the points, do they have to launch a new project with a new coin? Yes. Which they do. Okay, cool.
I mean
that's fine, right? Like they can totally do that. That's
as long as they're like agile and they can ship. Because I mean, like the fact of the matter is, like L2s clearly have a giant premium on the market. Like there are more coming to the market, like with let's say like Monad or ZK Sync. Like eventually an L2 won't be worth just instantly 2, 3, 4 billion. But like right now, like it's still early, and like if you can be quick and first to market, then you can get like a good valuation off on just like a pretty basic fork or a clone of an L2.
By the way, Monad is not an L2; it is an L1, and we'll bring Keone on to explain exactly what it is. But I think he needs to brush up on his Monad-ism.
Well, I guess Alt L1 and L2s both carry premiums. Is the point I'm trying to make? Not just L2s, but yeah.
Yeah. And if you look at the cap table, like the same people that invested in Blast are literally like the same investors that invested in Blur. And right now there's like a Blur. I mean, the Blur token unlock is like is happening throughout. It is like brilliant though. Like, I mean, from like a Ponsnomic element, creating demand, instead of pivoting Blur to like an L2 token, like creating an app chain, there's like, okay, like let's just like launch this new thing and go off of like the LSD, RW narrative, get, friendly, well-liked individuals on the cap table. So I'm not a fan of it, but I think it'll work, like, I mean, it's already working, right? There's like almost $500 million in TVL. Like I'm looking at the contract right now.
This sort of strikes me as when we talked about the Uni token and sort of that split between the equity and the token. Like, what do you guys think about this? Like, is there a new Blast team that's completely siloed and isolated from Blur, and they're just trying to drive value to Blast? Like, what are the investors most interested in? Or does this just create the same exact incentive split that we saw with the Uniswap equity versus token that we talked about a few weeks ago?
It's a great question. I think for now, it's good for both. Apparently, it's good for Blur because you get this like extra, ability if you use your Blur tokens. And it seems to be good for Blast, which is trading at 4 billion FDV on a, admittedly 20,000 volume market. But I'm a bit worried like how this ends up, because if you go back to first principles, there's only so much money that can go into the box. And even if there's staking yield and there's 5% staking yield, whatever, okay, like even if there's $1 billion goes in and there's a 50 million staking yield to distribute, how can you really support multiple tokens? And I understand they're going to try to do DEX, NFT DEX perps, NFT perps. That's part of the plan, and that's potentially what people are buying into is like this L2 that will have cheap NFT perps, which, given all the manipulation we've seen on perp markets, I am very worried on what NFT perps will look like and whether that will actually even work. Justin, have you looked at, since this is kind of your space, have you looked at NFT perps? Like, how does the funding
actually? Yeah, I can talk a little bit about this because we have. So at Astari, we acquired a company called MetaQuants, which one of the things they build is a Oracle product for NFT perps, exactly this. And so they were providing the Oracle services for the DeFi app NFT perp before they sort of sunsetted their V1 and going into their, I think they're calling it their V2 or something like that. And we're working with a couple other projects to help them spin up custom Oracle solutions for NFT perps, whether it's a perp DEX or like a collection that wants it, whatever it may be. And yeah, I mean, as you point out, Jordan, you have to be very careful with the parameters for this oracle because there's not much volume, there's not much liquidity, and market manipulation is very possible. So yeah, it's a great point. But there's a ton of interest in this space. Actually, there's if you look at the volume NFT Perp did when they were live and the fees they generated, it's astronomical. The fees are much higher than you would get with ERC20s or like standard assets. And people really love speculating on these things because there's not many good ways to short NFTs right now, which a lot of people certainly want to do or to hedge out their position. So I think there's a lot of interest in that market, but you have to be very careful. You have to be very careful.
Yeah, I am bearish on things like NFT perps. I think once like actors like DWF get their arms around it and they figure out how to liquidate people and just kind of mark a few prices up and down. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll pull it off once again. I would say there's a little bit of reputational risk involved now. I'm not sure that this roadmap will be. I'm skeptical. I love the people involved. I like Paradigm. I like all those guys, but I'm just a bit skeptical. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We obviously have a lot of other big stories we want to get into, including the sort of CZ settlement. And I mean, what was your reaction to it, Thicky? You're the news trader. Like you saw this come out. Were you selling, buying? How did you react, or were you asleep?
Bro, I mean, I went like really long, but it was like over positioned for, because the news was teased the day prior that like there would be a $4 billion settlement. So people already positioned long. And when this marginal news came out, it was obviously, I thought it was really bullish, just the overhang getting rid of, just getting cleared. But yeah, the positioning was kind of rough. Plus, I think the market was not ready for CZ stepping down. Like if you look at BNB price, like we skyrocketed up, 7%, but then we resolved lower. And like this was something that was like very surprising to me. Like I thought it was obvious that CZ would have to step down, but like to BNB holders, it seems like it was kind of a surprise. I think that kind of put a dampener on things in the short term, but like eventually after the dust sort of settled, we sort of climbed upwards, and now we're like near year-to-day highs at like 38K. So definitely like kind of tricky to trade, even though like the direction was clear, like the path was kind of a lot choppier than expected. And if you traded it with too much size, then it was really easy to get shaken out. So I think that's what happened to a lot of people.
Yeah, there was this huge shakeout, and then it's been one way only ever since. As of the time of this recording, I think even CME was super bullish. I saw somebody say that CME had touched 39K on the future.
Wow.
So there's a little bit of a premium being going on the future curve as well.
Yeah, I have a question for Jordy. So like the CME right now is at 38.5 according to their website. So there's like a 1 to 2% premium. Like, what does that tell you about the markets? Is that just like a U.S. institutional bid, or like how do you think about CME premiums?
Yeah, I think CME premiums are like the non-crypto natives who, the natives, we all have access to some normal exchange, let's say. This shows the interest of the kind of TradFi folk that are connected to CME, and they seem to think it's bullish. They probably figured out that, with Binance out the way and neutered, this could be good for the BlackRock / Larry Fink narrative. And I think it is. I think it's good for Bitcoin. It's obviously good for ETH. ETH is kind of catching up. I did see that there might be some Bitcoin coins that might be like some of the government coins selling off soon. So might be one of the reasons why the ETH BTC ratio will catch up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I think the institutions are probably coming. The Degens are here. I mean, we can see in like a lot of the altcoins. I think the Solana ecosystem is hungry for altcoins. So we had the bonk kind of crazy move, and then Pith is kind of followed as being like the next SPL token to provide like a beta for the market. And I think there could be some new ones. I think people are pretty bullish on the Jupiter DEX, which I have tried, and it's pretty nifty. It's not bad at all. So I think both the institutions and the Degens are back. I'm a little bit worried. I don't know what you guys think. I have a bit of a concern that we're falling back into our old habits, like our old ways of people are just assuming that we're back to sort of 2021 degeneracy. Like the degree of these pumps are kind of wild. You know, you go for lunch and you come back and things are 2x'd. And obviously the technology has not 2x'd the quality overnight.
How do you know?
I don't know.
Prove it.
Maybe there was some epic like Git commits. But have we learned? I mean, we've talked about this on this podcast before. Like, have we learned our lessons? And me and Justin are generally we probably have not learned our lessons, and we're gonna be making a lot of the same mistakes, right, Justin?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty evident, right? I was aligned with what Taiki had sort of shared with us last week and the week before. Of his thesis was more aligned with something has to like help us grow out of this bear market. It can't just be memetics, right? But it turns out it was just memetics, and I feel like we're all in this industry. We're all sort of like constantly disappointed by the lack of fundamental value. It's sort of like that meme. I wish I had it pulled up and ready to go of like comparing a token that's fundamentals and memetics, and like the fundamental sliver is so small, and that's true, and it's a little disappointing to see. But at the same time, like we don't have anything new right now in the crypto space, right? It's just sort of like these recycled DeFi games and NFT games. We're still waiting on like that next wave of innovation. And like, as we've discussed earlier, it's not Blast, right? Like it's going to work what they're doing. It's cool. It's like a nice spin on things, but that's not a real application for users that actually matters, right? In the long run. So I think it's a little bit bearish that we don't have anything real going on.
What are you guys talking about, man? It's green candle marketing, right? Price goes up and then all the devs come. Oh, wait. Can you pull up the tweet I have, Justin? Yeah, like Jordy, this is your infamous tweet here with like the shitcoin dilemma, where if Bitcoin pumps, then shitcoins pump, and then everyone wants shitcoins to pump. But if no one buys Bitcoin, then everything just like crashes because Bitcoin crashes. Do you think it's possible for this to not pan out? Because what if all the degens are just like buying altcoins, but all the institutions are buying BTC? Like, can there be like some soft landing here, right, where everyone can just like not get wrecked?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think people will get wrecked buying shitcoins because eventually, like, there's rotation. There's more, like we're seeing with Blur, and then there's like a next coin, and ultimately you just start leveraging on what you can portfolio margin your one Ponzi coin to buy another one, and we kind of stack up. But that comes down. We've seen that before. Hopefully, it doesn't get as bad this time. But you're right. Like, institutions could just support the majors themselves. It would suck if our viewers don't have a bag of Bitcoin or ETH, depending on your chosen one true coin, or both, in my case. So I would say, like, play the games, but maybe with like a little moon bag, and keep the focus on majors. Although I have to say, there's been an interest a lot after the Binance news in, the usual thing we see, like there's Binance FUD, and then people start buying DYDX and all these other DEX perps and DEX coins. I've always been bullish on DEX coins. I know that, like, there's a bit of a UX gap that's being filled, though, I think. And there's a lot of great ones. I mean, I'm going to write an article at some point on the ones that I'm seeing that I like. I think there's about 5 or so that look fantastic. DYDX, I would say, it's done incredibly well. It's the largest. Right now, it's a week away from an unlock, and it's also a week away from, they're trying to move people from the V3, which is like a centralized DYDX, to a decentralized one on Cosmos, and people have not been using the V4 one yet. We're very interested to see how that experience is going to be. And have you been looking at? Have any of you? Do you know if you trade on DYDX?
I have, yeah.
The V3,
But
right? So
not in a while, yeah.
Yeah, I think V3 is a successful product, right? But we'll see about V4.
Are you market making on it, Jordy?
We are market making on V4 in small size. We're a little bit worried because there's MEV concerns. Everything is going to be on chain. All the validators get to keep their own version of the book. There's no like one true order book as there is in a centralized matching engine. So if someone is, proposing a block and they decide that they're going to, change the book a little bit with their own orders, there's social slashing, and social slashing is something I frequently say that, we'll have to see how
Oh no, we lost.
it works. It's a concept. No one's actually extracting. Oh,
we lost you
back.
for a sec, but you're back. We're back.
Yeah, we're so
oh
back.
no. Did you catch me talking about social slashing?
You said social slashing is a concept.
Yeah, it's unproven. Until people start getting actually slashed for extracting too much MEV, there's just going to be a lot of concern whether this actually works. So we'll see. I'm bullish the team, and I'm hopeful that the product will be okay.
Yeah, they suffered a pretty rough hack this week.
Yeah.
With YFI.
So this is not a hack. This is what I've been going on about, and I'm probably like the only one in the space that keeps going on about this, but perps are a broken product when the spot markets are liquid. They literally rely on the spot market to be able to function properly. And it was just manipulation of an illiquid product. And they created like a liquidation for longs on Wi-Fi that far exceeded what they could, liquidate people for. And the insurance fund had to end up paying, I think, $8 or $9 million, which is quite a large, profitable trading strategy, to the extent that DYDX has now disabled, a lot of the potential open interest that can create such a thing.
In your mind, Jordy, like forgetting about the actual law, because I'm not sure about it, I would assume it's market manipulation, but like in your mind, is this unethical and unlawful behavior that should not be tolerated? Or is this obviously not like the code is locked yet, but is this like, well, this is what the market allows you to do, and if you can make money trading against it, power to you? What are your thoughts there?
I have quite a strong opinion on this. I think that people who try to take a moral, ethical, this is wrong, this is market manipulation, they can go on and on. I really don't care. The reality is, like, in a dark forest where people can be anonymous, which is what blockchain is supposed to do. Like, this is the dark forest. You need to have this in the design. You can't like try to use the FBI or whatever, they were saying doing. You need to be robust to an anonymous actor coming in and starting to manipulate your prices and try to liquidate people and drain your funds and do this kind of stuff. So I don't really care if it's, illegal, or it probably is. Of course it is in traditional markets. There's no question. I think it's more important that, the protocols themselves and the people who put these perps, and yeah, everybody loves perps. You don't have to roll the futures. You need to take seriously these tail risks and build them into the protocol. Otherwise, somebody's going to take advantage. It doesn't matter like whether it's, somebody ethical or unethical. Someone's going to take advantage of it.
Yeah, growing pains though, right? I mean, if you look at the token price of DYDX, it's doing relatively well. It's got pretty strong tailwinds of maybe Binance starts to lose market share as their supreme leader, starts to, like, I don't know, as their supreme leader, steps down. And I think like perp dexes are only 1% to 3% of the entire markets, like relative to centralized perps. And I guess it's good that it's happening now. Then, like when there's like a bigger hole that might have to come out of, like, retail investors and whatnot.
I think some of the dexes are definitely picking up. We're seeing drift on Solana, that ecosystem. Yeah, I see somebody in the chat saying that Jupiter UX is pretty damn good. Jupiter UX is good. I think Solana also has drift as a very good UX. That team being bullish on them. They've just been sort of building in this no man's land of dead liquidity in Solana, which is finally coming to life and giving them a chance. We're also being asked about CowSwap as another one. I have used CowSwap. Have any of you guys used CowSwap?
Yeah, all the time. It's the way I swap on mainnet.
Really? Over 1 inch? Because you can just set 1 inch slippage to 0 and it, like in my experience, get better fill.
For me, like
fills.
it helps with like the anonymity, because I don't know, I really try to protect my wallets and whatnot. I have like a bunch, so I mean, you know, like any like on-chain sleuth can figure it out, but like I tried my best to hide my tracks, I guess. Like, I mean, that makes it sound like really bad, but you know, just like not allow people to like, you know, track my
What are
buys
you
and whatnot.
trading,
Then it's a little
Taiki?
bit harder. I'm not trading anything.
Dude, just
It's-
make your
when-
Encanto. We already
when I-
know.
But in the past, you know, oh God, this makes me sound so bad. But hey, I'm wearing a farmer hat and I'm holding a rake, so you know.
No one has a right to know what you're trading but yourself unless you want to share it. I'm aligned, Taiki. It's your business.
No, but like I mean, I think CowSwap's a really good product. It's like I don't really think about it. I just if I want to buy something on mainnet, I just go to CowSwap, and then I hear the moo, and I'm like, yes, like my order went through. You know, like.
Do you play like the little game? They have you like play a little cow jumping game. Do you play that as well while you're waiting?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. It's like when the Google Chrome is like not connected to the internet, you like the dinosaur jumping, right? Yeah. Sometimes I do that, yeah.
The intense narrative is going to come back, I think, in a big way over it. Like, I think that's going to be one of the next big narratives in 2024. Like, we saw it for a couple months with Paradigm when they put out that piece and with Uniswap X, but I really do think intents are going to be the future. And I think there's so many more use cases beyond swaps. I think swaps are the least interesting use case, just because it's just people arbitraging like the pools on chain. But when you go beyond swaps, I think that's where like intents are really going to shine. I think there's a lot there, and I think CowSwap's probably in a pretty good position.
And there's like a governance proposal to like turn on the fee switch. So I guess it's good for the token.
Those things can be good or bad. I mean, you know, sometimes you want to be pre-revenue, pre-market. We've talked about this before. Once there's a revenue and people don't like the number, that can be good or bad. So Silicon Valley has taught us something.
Yes.
We're being asked about Orca printing. Are you farming Orca, Taiki?
I was looking into it, but I don't know. I feel like Orca has the same issues that Uniswap has, like in terms of like token, like value accrual. I think spot dexes have an issue when it comes to like having actual value accrual. Perp dex tokens have a much better way to, you know, or you know, it's more profitable, I guess. But I met with a team. I met Ori. I met Utaro. They're all really nice people. Very wholesome team. I like the team. I also like that they're donating money to like some Orca fund, I think. But I mean, it's a good dex, but I don't think it's like it's not really an investable token, I think.
Fair enough.
But the concentrated liquidity feature is pretty good. Yeah.
Absolutely. Does anybody think the ETF gets denied? I think at this point, I can't see that happening. I think they would just kick Gensler out of office. Somebody would get rid of him if that happened. Thinky, are you putting any probability to a denial?
I'm like 95% certain it'll be fine, but you know, all the interesting things are concentrated in those like weird tail events. Like we could see some like weird language that might indicate a delay and might like throw people off, and we could see like a huge candle on that. But I think ultimately, like we should see an acceptance by probably Q1 of 24.
Vicky, is a delay possible, or is the deadline Jan 10? And from my understanding, like wasn't the SEC like, you know, through the holidays in December, they're not even going to be, you know, working during that. So like, isn't there no more possibility of delay in Jan 10 is the deadline, or is that not right?
Jan 10's the ARC one, but like, even though I think the probability of a ETF getting approved in Q1 of 24 is like really high, like how much probability would you assign to like, what if they decline ARC for some technicality, but they accept BlackRock? And if that happens, then like you know, even though it's like only a few weeks of delay, like it could lead to some really weird price action. So like I'm definitely less sure that like they have to approve all of them at the same time, and Jan 10 is like the time they have to approve all of them, versus like the fact that they'll approve one of them during that time period. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's super interesting.
Absolutely.
Do you believe the conspiracy that's been floating around that like the government had to shut down CZ and Binance so that like BlackRock could take over? Do you think that's what happened and this is like massively coordinated? I mean, it strikes me as hard to believe, but the timing is absurd. Like getting this in the day before Thanksgiving, the rush there.
Yeah, the Thanksgiving rush probably had an element. I feel like they've been working on this case for a really long time. It just took them. I think this came out a lot later than they expected, like the market and everyone else expected it to. I'm not sure why. Maybe like some political reason, but yeah, I'm not sure.
You know, there's like mixed opinions about CZ. I think it's undeniable what he's accomplished as an entrepreneur, as a builder. You know, he hasn't rugged. He's just been building and building and building. What a product he's made. You know, I don't know him well personally. I've been on a couple spaces and spoken with him a little bit, but you know, I have to say, like, he probably will come back. It'll be like some revanchism in 3 years where he comes back, and I expect Binance to probably still be around, given what they're doing now. I don't know if he's going to have to do any jail time. It has been left open. It's not clear whether whatever plea deal or whatever you know, thing he's done is fully avoiding jail time. I think they're saying up to 18 months is possible. Now, I don't think he will get 18 months, but will they try to make a statement and give him 3 to 6 months? Or most likely it'll be sort of like Arthur Hayes, where some kind of home jail. We'll have to see.
Yeah, he's getting, in my opinion, a great deal, but he's also doing at the same time a great service to, I think, the crypto community. Like he didn't have to fall on the sword here and take this like pseudo slap on the wrist. He chose to come back to the US and sort of like embrace the US regulatory regime, whether you agree with that or not. Like from my understanding, Binance is now going to effectively not be controlled by the US government, but I sort of like think it's akin to when the US government backstopped SVB. So Binance is going to let the US government just completely audit their books going forward and look at everything in the past. And so to me, like in some ways, that this makes Binance like the new safest exchange, right? Like the new Uber regulated exchange. And from the US government side, like someone had to fall for this, right? Like it's not enough that Binance pays the $4 billion. They need someone to take some criminal liability. And so CZ being willing to do that, to pay the $50 million personally, to agree to up to 18 months in jail is awesome. You know, of course, would end up at like a federal prison camp that wouldn't be so bad, or on house arrest. But like the fact that he's willing to come back to the US and do it for our industry, and what he said in court was like, I just want to move past this and move on with my life and have a clean slate. And I think that's, you know, we all owe him a round of applause for that, whether you agree with what he did or not. Certainly good for the industry. So thank you, CZ.
Yeah. Well said, Justin.
I mean,
imagine he pulls a Jordan Belfort and goes like, I'm not fucking leaving.
Have you seen the video of him doing that? Have you seen the video where they put his face? There's like an epically good AI generated video.
I've not seen it. No.
The AI.
I'll try to find the link
like,
while we go through it.
Find it, Justin, because the AI is like shockingly good now. It's worrying me. But I do echo what you're saying, Justin. It's sort of like potentially bullish for Binance in that it becomes a, you know, approved government honeypot for, you know, activity to happen. We're seeing this a little bit. You know, I was listening to a great podcast, and they were talking about Tether, and there's a lot of questions around why is Tether not being investigated? Why haven't they shut this down? And there's like the thought that maybe, and we saw this recently, like, you know, 250 million got frozen of illegal money. Maybe this is good for the governments. Maybe this is the unholy alliance that will allow crypto to actually exist and not be at war with the governments, which is, we have this cooperation between Tether, Binance, and the governments, and they are able to just, you know, monitor and track criminals and take their money. So like this could end up being, instead of the tool that Elizabeth Warren says is like used for the criminals, this could be a way to track them.
And like,
and that's
Yeah, and like the one thing I want to say is like I think like stablecoins are like the 16th largest holder of U.S. debt. So at some point, if stablecoins get big enough, like it becomes systemic to like the world, like the entire economy. So maybe that's how crypto becomes too big to fail. Let's watch
Run
this.
it, run it.
I don't
you
know
full
if you
speed
can hear
this?
the audio.
Securities
This is so
industry
funny.
barring me from
I can hear it. I
scrapping
can hear it.
Oh, perfect.
my home. The fuck is that? You know? You know what? I'm not leaving.
Full screen it. Full screen.
I'm not leaving.
I'm fucking leaving. The show goes on. This is my home. They're gonna need to send in the National Guard or fucking SWAT team, because I ain't going nowhere. Fuck them.
That's so
Oh,
good.
man.
And people
Yes,
from the
sir.
industry didn't get this, right? So I saw Jason Kalkanis from the All In podcast, great podcast, check it out, saying like the balls on this guy to basically tweet out that, you know, after he's getting indicted on federal charges that he's willing to advise companies. Like it didn't click with him that could be plausible. But like, I do think I was critical of CZ before, but now going forward, like he's owned up to all of that. He's like making amends. And of course you want this guy in your corner fighting for you. Like this is the godfather of our industry in some ways. Like you're one of them. So yeah, it's been interesting to watch the media's reaction to this.
Absolutely.
I look forward to
I do
CZ
wanna-
having like a $2 billion wallet on chain, like Justin Sun, just like aping into random shitcoin farms. Like that's what I want to see. The Degen side of CZ to come out.
That would be very cool. I want to ask our viewers now that we have, you know, a live chance to ask them. Do you guys want a Degen of the week or do you want a pasta of the week? What do you guys prefer? Let's see some votes in the chat. And just curious, what do people like the most? As we wait for
Degen.
we got
Okay, there's
Degen of the week
there's
makes me
some-
money. I wish it made
Okay.
me money. What the heck?
Wow, everybody likes a Degen. I didn't realize. I thought the pastas are okay. We have a couple people
okay, yeah.
on the pasta side. All right. Well, you know, both. All right. You know,
Ooh,
it's
we could run
Thanksgiving.
both.
It's Thanksgiving. We got to do both. This week we'll do
Yeah,
both. It'll be
yeah.
the first time. Okay, so let's start with
You
the
guys
pasta
got to
of
go
the
easy
week.
on me with the links, by the way. We're doing it live, so I'm doing the best I can to try to pull everything up perfectly.
Wow.
Yes, we have production value.
Production value.
Fucking go. Oh,
Yo,
pasta.
look at that. Some meatball marinara.
Justin, you want to kick us off?
Yes, that makes my job easy because I was already sharing this tab. Okay. So I also think about these tweets regularly, specifically this Degen Spartan one. And this is what I was saying this before the podcast, like, oh, wow, everything's up so much. I kind of want to sell. But this is the biggest risk to me. Your biggest risk is being underallocated to the industry you log into every single damn day to talk about. I would rather everything goes to zero than be the guy where, you know, ETH is 10K next year and I didn't have enough exposure, because I couldn't live with that, right? Like we have a podcast, we talk about this, we work in the industry. That is more of a risk to me than this going to zero. If it goes to zero, I'll figure it out. But if this thing goes to 10K, you know, etc., I can't live with that. And then Ansem also had a similar tweet basically saying that we get to front run traditional institutions. So that was my pasta. I'm sure you guys feel a little bit of the same sentiment, and that's what's forcing us to hold.
Yeah, I do have to fight the urge to take profit because we're, you know, 2 years into a bear market where the only way you survived and did well was, you know, taking profit on pumps. And I just do it by having a bag that I don't trade out of, just some BTC and ETH that I just sit on, and I literally just can't even sell it. Otherwise, you know, you can screw it up. That's for sure. Taiki, how about you? Do you have any pastas?
Yeah, Justin, can you pull up the BitLord one? That was pretty funny.
How have you been holding this rake this entire time? This entire podcast? You're holding that rake.
Dude, like I got diamond hands, dude. Like my hands are nasty. Okay. So yeah, so
Oh
I
my
think a couple
god,
of days
this
ago,
one. Oh my
yeah,
god.
I think Bitlord, I don't really know what this project is, but he posted some Ethereum address, and right now there's $3.6 million worth of ETH in there, and then right after he raised money, he's like, all right, guys, like I'm taking a mental health break. Like I'll come back next year, but it's kind of like this culmination of like devs raising money and then using some excuse to just not actually deliver. I'm sure he's trolling. I'm sure he's trolling to some extent, but I thought this was like a pasta that I wanted to share this Thanksgiving episode.
I'm just so
Bitlord
funny.
is he's quite a troll. He's a good troll.
Yeah, he doesn't
But
deserve this.
I don't know if this is fully serious or not. I'm not. I don't deserve this.
It's very
Crypto's a way of a
meta
toxic environment.
Yeah. I don't think he's tweeted since then, so it might actually be serious.
Yeah.
We need to check whether he's depositing to Coinbase or not.
That's still in there. That $3.6 million.
Still in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Thicky, do you have a pasta?
Yeah, I do. I can't remember what it was. What was my pasta? Did I share it?
I'll bring up mine in the meantime.
Okay.
So our last episode, I had to educate Justin about, some of the alternative L1s out there. And this community is pretty epic on the memes. I have to say the Monad hiring, intern and, a bunch of other amazing meme getters. They have crushed it. Just to remind our viewers, I had a little coughing incident over here. So they dropped this video, and one of the community members, I don't know how exactly he's involved with the project, but one of the community members, can we put the volume up, Justin? This was just epic.
Have a persistent cough.
Monad.
Feeling low on TPS?
Monad.
Introducing Monad cough syrup. Using a proprietary formula including yapper extract and imishar samuchin, Monad cough syrup can help with even the most hard-to-treat coughs. Warning, this medication has been known to result in VNADs. May cause Pam Pam to cry. Have a persistent
I mean, this is amazing. You can't beat that.
Amazing.
cough.
Monad.
So thank you to the community for being concerned with my health and my cough, and I appreciate the cough syrup. This to me, 10 out of 10 at pasta. Hard to beat. I don't know. Thicky, do you have anything? Has your forgotten pasta been revealed?
I posted it. That was pretty good. It was really high production value, man. AI tools have definitely changing the game in the meme space. But yeah, this is mine. I thought this was very funny just because the three skills you need to make it are definitely brains, balls, and luck. And unfortunately, a lot of people fall short of one of the three. So I think it would speak to everyone, where you might fall.
Are you a trader, Thicky? Are you a trader?
I think I might be a pussy.
You got no balls, man.
Yeah, no balls. But there are a lot of gamblers, a lot of people that are wrecked, and there's a lot of pussies.
We need to let the audience decide who wins this time.
We should have the audience too. Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
on the
Okay.
diagram. But yeah.
Is it gonna be the Venn diagram? Is it gonna be the Monad cough? Is it gonna be Bitlord rage quitting? Or what was yours, Justin?
Mine was the pasta of you can't not have full exposure when you work and live and breathe this
Right.
industry. You can't be that guy.
The
While we
Degen's
wait
part
for
of me.
that, though, Jordy, you're getting a lot of fan love. You're involved in a lot of stuff. Everything with an M. Is there a project that starts with an M that you're not involved with?
Let's see. Is there? I'm gonna look for some M coins.
Wait, what other
maybe-
M coins are there? Besides Monad?
Maker, my bags.
Wait, Jordy's involved in Maker?
No.
No.
That's why it's not pumping. How about Matic? You like Matic?
At times, I kind of, it's such a complicated, narrative, and they keep changing what they're doing. And sometimes I like it. Sometimes
My
I'm less
biggest gripe
bullish.
with Matic is the name. The token name is so silly to me. Matic. I don't even know what that means. And also, I think they're rebranding it to Poly or something. But like the fact that the token had like no correlation to the name of the chain was hilarious to me, and I just could never get on board.
Mana, yeah, definitely not Mana. I'm not a Mana holder. Monero, yeah. The only time I've ever
It's
used
XMR,
Monero was
though.
to yeah, XMR. I've only bought it once in my life, and it was to anyway. I guess I can't even like,
Anyway,
I can't even discuss what kind of
oh my
stuff people
God.
had to buy Monero for. Let's
Where's Mikey
change the
Jordy?
subject.
All right. Okay. I think I'm looking at the chat. I think it's mostly the Venn diagram. wait, there's
Icky.
2 monads, 4
Any
4 Venn
love?
diagrams. No,
All right, it'll
Frank
be
Abagnale says Jordan's Degen Spartan, so he got you two mixed up.
Jordan's.
I don't know what's happening.
Mix Jordy and I's name.
I think it's sticky.
I'll take my first win.
I'll give it to Thicky. We'll give it to Thicky.
Oh, the pasta.
And let's see if you can double up with a Degen of the week. So we'll do this as our close.
I brought content, so hopefully I can actually win this. I don't know if you guys have anything we can look at, but the audience needs to see something. So I have visual aid.
Visual aid. Oh my God. I feel like we're gonna get started pretty strong at the gate. All right, Justin. Let's have you kick it off.
Sure. I didn't have any necessarily crypto degen stuff. I'm still just holding my spot bags, but I was accepted. I'm very excited about this, to the Waymo beta testing program here in Century City, Los Angeles. And I went on like 6 different Waymo rides. You can hear that audio. In any case, I was just vibing out, playing music, enjoying my Waymo rides. These things are incredible. I know it's not exactly crypto related, but this is the future. It's 10 times more comfortable than Uber. The cars are better. Sound system's better. It's literally your car. You're the only one in it. No one's driving this thing. It's smoother. It's faster. Everything about it is better. I used to want to work at Waymo before crypto. And this is my Degen of the week, because I know, I was getting a lot of faces that like people treat you like a celebrity in these things, and everyone is shocked that these things could be safe, and everyone is very confused when they see it. So I know it's very Degen for a lot of people, but I promise you, if you have the opportunity to try this, you'll love it. So hopefully the audience enjoyed that non-crypto rant.
What are they doing with the pass, like the driver's seat? Do they just leave it empty? Does not look weird?
Yeah, so you can't sit in it, and they actually have, so you can see actually at the top of the screen there's you can see my cursor there. There's a camera there. You cannot touch anything related to the driver's seat. So they have the seatbelt buckled here. You're not supposed to sit in it, although you can sit in the front, just not that driver's seat. You can't touch the steering wheel. You can't touch the pedals. You're not even supposed to use the AC or volume inputs on the car. They have a display that's, you can see that there. This is the only thing you're supposed to interact with. You're not allowed to really touch any of the buttons. And I think the ride would automatically stop and it would pull over and let you out if you messed with it. But, I don't want to get banned. I didn't touch that stuff.
Okay. All right. Well, it's a definitely different kind of Degen this week, but cool to see that this is actually finally starting to go live as it would be. I don't know if there's a Waymo token at some point that we can Degen into, but for now, no way to get a price exposure.
You can buy Google. Google owns Waymo.
Okay, You get a little bit of that, a little bit of AI, DeepMind, 2 for 1. Thicky, do you have you been Degen? I mean, you must have been degening in some way or form this week. I'm pretty sure.
Not so much in markets besides like losing money on the Binance news, but I met up with some random dude in Singapore, me and a friend, and he like took us to this like after dinner. He like took us to this like really seedy place, and like it turns out there's something called like a Thai disco, where like there's like this giant room and like all these girls from like different Asian countries will like line up on the stage, and apparently you're supposed to like tip them like 100, 200 Singapore dollars, and they'll like come and like to your table and like come talk to you and like play games, and like you can negotiate to like do something with them after. But it was just like a huge culture shock for like me and my buddy, because like coming from the States, it's like it honestly felt like watching the meat market, just it was.
I laugh because your anonymous friend, I know I actually spoke to that person yesterday, and they separately told me, so I know who it is. I know who has been your KTV tour guide. That's why I'm laughing. Just I have the background and I know who it is. So yeah, and this is a cultural experience, and I'm glad that our friend has been showing you some of the interesting things going on here.
Yeah. So
what happened? So what happened?
No, nothing happened. We just left. It was more just like it was kind of awkward. I don't know. I just felt like kind of weird.
We'll talk off camera, Thicky.
Okay.
Cool. My Degen of the week is maybe not as exciting. I was looking at the NFT lending market. It's something that I've been trying to understand, what the current state is. So I was going through, Justin obviously knows the space very well. He was sharing some of the dashboards, and I can see who's borrowing against their punks and getting liquidated all over the place, this kind of stuff. Blur still has quite a good market share in that segment. But apparently, Justin explained that a lot of the reason for this market share on the NFT lending market is because people are using it as a way to bypass the selling fee. Because in essence, like if you just lend and walk away, it's the same as a sale. So if I say like, oh, I want like 50 ETH for a CryptoPunk, and that's the same as the floor price, I'm just going to take the 50 ETH and leave. And we can say it's a loan and I got liquidated, but actually this was like the intention all along. So I tried it. This was my degeneracy. I, tried to sell an NFT by getting liquidated on a loan. And, it works. I mean, this is a way to get points and to sell without fees. That feels a bit of a hack, but that's what Degens do. Degens got a hack. So that was my Degen. Thanks for the heads up, Justin. I tried it out. And finally, to wrap up, Taiki, you have not told us what your Degen is. You've kept it a secret, so I'm very excited.
It's okay.
It's up.
Okay. So I'll just play this real quick and I'll talk about it. So okay, that's it. So yeah, like last weekend I went. This is the first time I've been clubbing in New York actually, and I've been here over a year. And it was like my first like VIP table experience, and I don't know. It was like a bunch of crypto bros just like dancing it out, like taking like shots. I got home at like 6 a.m. I don't even remember like what happened. And then we actually had some Korean food after. So that was a real fun. I felt young again,
Were you with a certain cat potentially? Yes,
I was with a certain cat.
Interesting.
And yeah, the cat's very good at dancing. I never knew. And there were other Avi Feldman was also like an amazing dancer. Like no wonder he's an amazing trader. Like
did you pick up some moves, Taiki? Are you gonna show us some of the that's how you actually win Degen of the week. You have to show us some of the moves that you learned. Do you want some background music?
We need like a poker status.
Yeah, I feel so much
Is
FOMO.
that
I
the
wish I was
cat-
there with you.
That's the cat
Just
club
farming and
move.
dumping.
Farming and dumping on cow
Farming.
swap, right?
This is called the farm and dump.
It's like me and Jordy
Oh,
are just,
no.
I'm taking Waymos alone. Jordy's selling NFTs alone. And Taiki and Thicky are just going crazy with these parties. Next time, invite us. We'll be there.
Yeah, it's an interesting setup. All right, we're gonna let the chat once again choose who was the Degen of the week. Let's see if Thicky can double up, or maybe the little weird cat farming dance is. Okay, we got one Taiki here.
By the way, that was not cat. By the way, the people in there. That was not cat.
No one. Oh man, we got a hater.
What the hell?
Samuel.
What?
Samuel. No one.
The
Thicky
key
if he
closed.
closed.
Not that Degen. Holy shit. It looks like it's a close race between Thicky and Taiki. Thicky, did you close? That's the way that you would win the Degen if you closed.
I'll give it to Taiki.
Taiki,
Uh-oh.
Thicky did not close. Therefore, you closed. Degen of the week.
Oh,
Yes. We did.
Congrats,
All right,
Taiki.
amazing. All right. Well, let us know in the comments, guys. This is our second live show. We've been alternating back and forth. Obviously, when we have guests, we'll see kind of what they prefer as well. Thanks for joining. It's great to see so many people in the chat. This is kind of even more than last time. So much appreciated. We are thankful for our audience, and we'll see you guys next time. Enjoy your weekend.
And like and share, please. It helps us get the word out.